Hi everyone, Chef Aaliyah here. Today I'm going to show you my knife techniques for the cabbage, sausage, and potato soup. So here we have a leek. When you pick out leeks, you want to make sure to get ones with a lot of white and light green part on them. This one really doesn't. I couldn't find anything else in the store, but try as hard as you can. And you want to take off that dark green top part because we won't use it for the soup. And you want to cut this lower part in half lengthwise because a lot of dirt hides there in those folds. So go ahead and give it a good rinse like I just did there. Bring it back to the cutting board and then give it a nice thin slice. You notice how I'm keeping the tip of my knife on the cutting board and pushing away from me, kind of in a circular motion. And it's helpful to have a bowl next to you to go ahead and throw those leeks into. Let's see this again. So we're gonna cut off the top dark green part, save it for some soup or stock, and then cut it lengthwise and then it crosswise again. You wanna make sure to rinse it before cutting it. Lots of dirt hangs out in leeks. Onto the celery. I have 2 stalks of celery here. I think the recipe might have called for 1, but hey, celery comes in big bunches. It's okay if you include some of the top part too. This is a nice soup that's gonna cook for a while, so it'll soften up. If there's some leaves on your celery too, it's totally fine to leave that. And I just thinly slice it, keeping my tip of the knife on the cutting board, cutting away from me. Going all the way down to the end. I do discard of that last little bit that can be a little bit tough, sometimes hard to get clean too. So that goes into my bowl of veggies too. Awesome technique. Onto the carrots. So I don't cut the top off my carrots, but I do cut them lengthwise. And I get rid of that little tip. It can be dry and sometimes hard to get clean as well. And this way I'm getting some half moon shapes. Nice little bite-sized pieces that'll soften up in the soup. And I go all the way up to the top and I just stop there. And just toss that little top bit. Now onto the cabbage. I have a half a cabbage here. Half a cabbage, I think the recipe calls for 1 small cabbage, but that's kind of equal to a half a large cabbage. What I like to do to make it more manageable is cut the half in half. So I have a quarter, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just slice out the core with 1 slice. So that was easy. Get rid of that. And then what I like to do with my cabbage is break it apart into 2 pieces. So you'll see me here tearing it apart. This makes it a little bit more manageable. Cabbage can be really big to cut even with a large knife. So I put it on the cutting board and then just kind of smash it flat. And again, cut away from me, tip of knife on the cutting board, keeping my fingers out of the way and going slowly. And I end up with these nice strips that'll cook down nicely in the soup. I do the same with that other little part too. I'm gonna go ahead and smash it flat, make it easier, more stable, and then go ahead and cut right through it. I'll end up with pretty uniform pieces all the way around. And you can do the same thing with the other half too. Onto the potatoes. I use red potatoes. These are waxy potatoes, meaning they're not going to fall apart in their soup. They're going to hold their shape, which is nice if you're reheating it during the week. And I try to get a flat surface. That's why I cut it in half first to make it more stable. And then I just cut it into kind of bite-sized cubes that are relatively even in size. Do the other half too. I don't bother to peel them. There's flavor in that peel. I did scrub them so they're not dirty, but no need to peel them. On to the kielbasa. Kielbasa, I picked out a smoked kielbasa, and that actually says fully cooked. So kielbasa is fully cooked. What you're basically doing is just heating it up in the soup. And I cut the long piece in half and then make nice bite-sized chunks here. Gotta try it. It's fully cooked, so it's totally fine to take a little snack. And I cut on a diagonal because it looks nice. The next thing you want to do is preheat your pan. I just threw a little bit of water in there. When it evaporated right away, it showed me that the pan was hot. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in my sausage. I'm browning the sausage both for flavor, the nice browning, The caramelization gives a nice depth of flavor to the soup, and because I think it's more pleasant to eat a browned piece of sausage. There's a little bit more texture on the outside of a brown piece of sausage. And you want to be sure to get them all in one even layer so that they brown evenly. And you'll flip them once in the middle of cooking. And then once they're evenly browned, go ahead and just pull them out. You can add a little bit more oil. They will have rendered some fat out, but you might want to add a little bit more. That was olive oil. You can see my pan is nice and hot and ready for my veggies. When I add the veggies, I do turn it down to about a medium. I don't need to brown them on a high heat. I just need to get them soft. And then once those veggies are in there, I will add a little bit of salt at this stage. This is both for flavor, there's my salt, for flavor and to help the veggies break down. The salt helps them break down. Once they've been cooking for about 5 minutes, you've been stirring them occasionally, they're nice and cooked down, then I'm going to add the cabbage, and there's some garlic in there too. Go ahead and give that a toss, get everything incorporated. And I'll add a little more salt too, to help the cabbage break down. It's going to add more flavor. Once the cabbage has been cooking for a while, it's going to cook down a bit in the pot. Just want to make sure to give it a good stir. And you're going to add the other items back into the pot. So you're going to put in your browned sausage. Oh, but wait. First, you're going to put in your Italian blend. That was my shameless plug for Spice Club, my business. So Magnifico blend is an Italian blend. You can use any kind of dried herb that you have. And then go ahead and add that sausage back in there. Your cubed potatoes. And your stock. This is a vegetable stock here. You can use really any kind of stock that you want. Chicken is good. Veggies good. Then go ahead and stir it around. These veggies are going to give off quite a bit of water, so you don't have to worry if there's not a lot of liquid in there. But if you think there's not enough, you can add a little bit more too. And then you want to bring it up to a boil. Give it one last stir before you say goodnight for a few minutes. Go ahead and cover it and turn it down to a simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. After that amount of time, your potatoes will be soft. That is what you are looking for. Your flavors will have combined, and you can serve yourself up your nice cabbage sausage potato soup.